Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're looking at the absolute ultimate blueprint for perseverance. Now, if you're a young, aspiring athlete, or honestly just someone with a massive dream that feels completely out of reach right now, this one is definitely for you. We're going to explore exactly how the greatest footballer in history started out with literally nothing. We'll break down his timeline, that totally unique mindset, and the relentless obsession it took to conquer the world.
So, picture this. The year is 1985. We're on a tiny, forgotten island off the coast of Portugal called Madeira, a place most people back then couldn't even point to on a map. A baby boy is born into a family that has next to nothing. No money, zero fame. His dad works as a kit man, the quiet guy whose whole job is just scrubbing the mud off football boots and washing jerseys for a tiny local club. But while other kids are inside playing video games, this boy is out in the streets. He's playing at night. He's playing until his actual feet bleed. He's got absolutely nothing but a beat-up ball and a total obsession.
Which brings us to the ultimate underdog scenario. Think about it. What if the greatest player of all time was, by all accounts, supposed to be a nobody? There was zero future predicted for this kid. Every statistic, every circumstance dictated that he should have stayed entirely unknown. But man, that baby was about to make the entire planet know his name.
Let's dive right into this first part, a dream born in poverty and the exact obstacles that fuel greatness. Okay, imagine being 12 years old. His raw talent is finally getting noticed, but the price tag is heavy. He has to pack up, leave his mom, leave his island, and move to the massive city of Lisbon completely by himself. It gets crazier. At 15, the unthinkable happens. Doctors find out his heart is beating dangerously fast, a terrifying condition called tachycardia. It's the kind of thing that could literally end a career before it even starts. Just picture being a 15-year-old kid staring at a hospital ceiling, wondering if your one and only dream is just over. But he didn't break. He went right into surgery, and instead of throwing in the towel, he came back training harder, faster, and stronger than anyone had ever seen. He used that sheer terror as fuel to make his senior debut for Sporting CP at just 17 years old.
Moving right along to our next chapter, earning the number 7 and stepping onto the global stage in 2003.
Set the scene. Sporting CP is playing a friendly against Manchester United, literally one of the most intimidating powerhouse clubs on earth. And this 18-year-old kid plays so fearlessly, so brilliantly, that United's own seasoned veteran players walk right up to their legendary manager, Sir Alex Ferguson, straight after the whistle, and they literally demand, "Boss, sign that kid, right now." And guess what? Sir Alex listened.
£12 million. That was the staggering, immediate reward for all those nights playing in the street until his feet bled, for absolutely refusing to back down from life-threatening heart surgery. For that massive, record-breaking fee, an 18-year-old boy from a tiny island was thrust right onto the biggest stage in England. And he didn't just join the squad, he completely transformed. He was handed the most iconic jersey in the history of the sport, the Manchester United number 7. We're talking the exact same shirt worn by absolute legends like George Best, Eric Cantona, and David Beckham. Over 6 insane years, he went from this raw, flashy teenager with frosted tips into the most dangerous weapon in football. 3 Premier League titles, a Champions League trophy, and then the ultimate crown in 2008, his very first Ballon d'Or, the award that officially names you the absolute best footballer on the entire planet. The Kitman's son was sitting on top of the world.
So, what happens next? Let's look at how he became more than just a player and redefined the top. From 12 million to an unbelievable 80 million pounds. In 2009, Real Madrid did something the sports world had literally never seen before. They paid a world record fee for one single human being.
Just take a second to contrast his humble beginnings playing in the dirt in Madeira with these absolute god-like statistics. Under the blazing floodlights of the Bernabeu in front of 80,000 screaming fans, he became something beyond just a football player. Look at this ratio, 311 goals in 292 matches. He averaged more than a goal a game. Are you kidding me? He brought home 4 more Champions League trophies and 4 more Ballon d'Ors, night after night, delivering moments that just left everyone completely breathless. But to really understand him, you have to look past the stats. Fast forward to July 10th, 2016. It's the massive European Championship final, Portugal versus France. Just 25 minutes into the game, he collapses. He's clutching his knee, absolutely devastated. carried off the pitch on a stretcher, in tears. Now honestly, almost any other player would have limped to the dressing room, iced their knee, and just watched the rest of the game in total defeated silence. Not him. What did he do? He stood right there on the sidelines, limping, crying, screaming at his teammates. He was pushing them, coaching them, and believing in them when the entire rest of the world thought France had it in the bag.
And the result? Portugal wins it 1-0. They secured their first major international trophy ever. That image of him on the sidelines, weeping with pure joy, medals around his neck, it just proves his leadership goes way, way beyond his footwork. He willed his team to win when he couldn't even stand on the pitch.
Which brings us to the later chapters of his incredible story, refusing to slow down. He just simply refuses to accept the end. He goes and makes a record-breaking €100 million transfer to Juventus, the most expensive signing in Italian football history, and snags 2 Serie A titles. Then, an incredibly emotional return back to Manchester United, the club that first believed in him. And finally, making huge waves by moving to Al Nassr in Saudi Arabia. Critics have been loudly claiming for years that the legend was finally fading away, but they keep getting it entirely wrong. He doesn't fade.
Just let this number sink in for a second. 900. Over 900 career goals. He holds the absolute highest number of international goals scored by any man in the history of the sport. We are talking about records that realistically might never be broken. Ever.
34 trophies, 5 Ballon d'Ors, and he is 40 years old. 40. And he's still out there playing, still competing like his life depends on it. His obsession with the game hasn't faded one single bit.
Which brings it to the core takeaway of this whole explainer. There's a totally alternate universe where that kid from Madeira just gives up, right? Where leaving home at 12 breaks him, or the heart surgery destroys his confidence, or the endless critics finally wear him down. But that version of the story just doesn't exist, because he looked at every single obstacle, every setback, every single person who ever doubted him, and he turned it all into fuel. So for any young athlete listening to this, obstacles aren't standing in the way of greatness. They are the exact ingredients required for it.
He didn't just play football. He showed the entire world what is actually possible when a human being absolutely refuses to give up on their dream. From a kitman's son with a beat-up ball to the greatest to ever live, he took every obstacle and turned it into greatness. So the only question left for you is, what are you going to do with yours?